Hi, Flick here from the Nerd Soapbox, and today we're at the 2023 Pasadena Comic-Con with a special guest. Our guest is a writer, producer, director, production designer, actor, best known to the Nerd Soapbox gang for appearing in Star Trek for The Voyage Home and Marvel's Werewolf by Night, as well as his work on Muppet's Haunted Mansion. Turn the volume down on your boombox because we're about to talk to Kirk Thatcher. Hi, Kirk. How are you?
How's it going, Flick?
It's going fantastic.
Thanks for talking to me.
Well, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, well.
Wow. So how's your con so far?
It's been great, actually. It's nice. I live in LA, so it's been an easy drive, and everyone's been really friendly. The con organizers are great. They've come up and checked on me and the staff. It's a very well-run con. I'm very impressed.
Nice, nice. Growing up, what was your fandom? Were you into sports, comic books, movies?
Definitely comic books, not at all sports. I still don't watch sports.
All right.
Monster movies, sci-fi, and comedy. I say that like the three big influences for me were Monty Python, Monty Python the Holy Grail, all the Ray Harryhausen movies, Sinbad, Jason the Argonauts, King Kong, monster movies, and then the Muppets, Sesame Street. It hit me right when I was like 6.
Oh, fantastic.
So that was all why I do what I do.
How old were you when you were hired by George Lucas, the special effects company, Industrial Light and Magic, and how did that come about?
I was 18.
Oh.
I was lucky. I grew up about a mile from ILM when it was in Van Nuys. I grew up in Van Nuys.
Oh, all right.
And I met Joe Johnston when I was 15. Our mothers went to the same church. And my mom came home and said, I met a lovely lady whose son worked on Star Wars. And I was a huge Star Wars fan. And I said, oh, what's his name? She said, Joe. I'm like, is it Joe Johnston? And it was. It still is, actually. And he was very kind. He gave me a tour of ILM. They were making Battlestar Galactica at that point. Yeah, it was summer of 1977. And we became friendly. And I said, hey, I was really excited because I thought I could ride my bike to ILM. I'm gonna, summer jobs. That's where I want to be an intern. They moved within 6 months to Marin County, so that dream fell through. But I stayed in touch with Joe and kept making creatures at home and making my own little movies, Super 8 films. And when I graduated high school, went and visited ILM in Marin that summer, and Joe gave us a tour, my brother and I and some of our next door neighbors, and I gave them this creature I'd made. Because I don't know, I'm a weird kid. Like, I made this monster. So he gave it to the Phil Tippett and the guys at the creature shop, Chris Wallace. And 7-8 months later, I had gone to UCLA for one semester, and I wanted to be a film major. But they're like, well, you can't even touch a camera for 3 more years. I'm like, I've been making movies since I was 10. So I called Joe. There wasn't email or text back then. I said, hey, school is kind of a drag. Can I work on? Then they just announced they were making a new Star Wars movie. Can I make coffee, run the Xerox machine, sweep the floors, just be a part of it?
Right.
And what was funny was he said, "Who told you?" And I would talk to Joe maybe twice a year.
Right.
And I said, "Who told me what?" He said, I just gave your name yesterday to the recruiters to interview you for being on the creature shop crew for Jedi. So I was incredibly excited. And I was like, nobody. He's like, who? No, somebody told you. I'm like, who do I know up there besides you? So I went up, interviewed, and got the job because I was young, enthusiastic, and cheap. And I had skills. I knew how to make a mold and cast rubber and paint it, and so I had kind of the grunt work skills that are necessary to make creatures.
Wow. All right, I'd like to name a couple of projects you worked on at Industrial Light and Magic. Gremlins.
Yeah, well, that wasn't at ILM. That was with Chris Wallace. CWI, Chris Wallace, of course. And Chris was the guy who hired me on Jedi, and then he left ILM and started his own company. So about a year and a half later...
My timeline is off.
Yeah, trust me, it's hard to remember anything past about 5 years ago. Then Chris started his own shop, and we became really good friends. We were fishing buddies. Any free chance we had, we'd go fishing. And one day he said, hey, I helped him on a couple small projects. Literally, he was doing out of his garage. And one day he called me. I was done with Jedi. just doing like day work at ILM, and he said, "Hey, I sold this movie called Gremlins." I'm like, "All right." So I started working on Gremlins and worked with Chris for about 8 or 9 months, and then moved down to LA and did puppeteering on it. So I helped build them. I designed their paint job, made all their eyes, just built Gremlins, and then puppeteered them. Yeah.
What did you do for Return of the Jedi?
I worked on all the creatures except for the Ewoks, Jabba, and Bib Fortuna. Almost every other creature on that movie I painted or helped cast, mold, make. So yeah, a lot of creatures. Yeah.
All right, moving on from Star Wars, Star Trek.
Yeah.
What were you hired to do for Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock?
That's one of the things I did when I was at ILM. I worked on the creatures. I helped make the Klingon dog, that kind of lizard dog.
Yeah.
I forgot it. There was never a name in it, so I helped build him and I puppeteered him. I was under Christopher Lloyd's chair with my right arm. They cut a hole, put my right arm out, and had my hand in the dog. I had a little monitor, and then I did those bacteria worms that were on Spock's coffin, and puppeteered those, and I helped make them, sculpt them. In fact, I just got the sculptor on that, just sent me some pictures of me working on it, which I didn't know existed. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, and how about in the voyage home?
Well, that was Star Trek 4. Yeah. So after all blends together, I left ILM. I storyboarded a movie. I was going to design the creature, and then ended up storyboarding a movie called Cat's Eye, which is a Stephen King anthology show. And then I went back to UCLA. I was going to study computer animation because after working at ILM, I could see that computers were going to take over special effects. And while I was there, Star Trek 4 put out a call for an assistant for Leonard Nimoy. And so I applied because they said they were looking for someone with a special effects background. And I literally just left ILM a year earlier and knew everyone there. So I met with Leonard. We hit it off, became very good friends. And I was like genetically engineered for that job. He wanted someone who knew movies, knew all the production process, especially special effects and art department. I'd just been a production designer for David Fincher rock videos. And I'd done storyboard. I mean, I kind of knew the whole process. So I became Leonard's right-hand guy, and he, halfway through production, he said, "I'm going to make you associate producer because you can't be an associate director. The guild won't allow it." So I became associate producer, and then I got that cameo that I'm most well known for as the punk on the bus.
Yes. So that's how you got Punk on the Bus.
Yeah.
Could you share with us maybe a favorite behind-the-scenes story or two with your time working with Leonard?
Oh gosh, I'm losing my voice. I don't know. It was just fun. I mean, well, one story, it's kind of fun. I was all dressed up as the punk with the orange mohawk and everything. And after we were shooting, I went out to a very well-known punk club in San Francisco, and it's called Mabuhay Gardens. And I went in, and this was a hardcore punk club, and nobody looked at me twice. Walking down the street, I got lots of looks. I went in the punk club. I mean, it was crazy in there. There were half-naked people doing drugs in the bathroom, sex on the floor. It was a very hardcore punk club.
Wow.
And the makeup artist, Jeff Dawn, came with me, and he left after about 45 minutes. He's like, "I think they're going to kill me." And people just walk up. Some girl walked up to me and was like, offering to make out. I was like, I'm really a nice boy from the valley. But I was trying to be, like, yeah, I'm cool. It was fun. That was an amazing moment in my life where, when you are disguised as a perfect version of whatever that culture is, and they accept you. And it was funny. No second. I mean, people complimented my hair or something. But it was fun.
I heard you had written one of my favorite jokes in the movie for Scotty.
Hello, computer?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'd just gotten a iMac. It was the second version, the 512. 512. And that was my computer I was using on the show for, whatever I had to do. And when they said, "Oh, we're going to do this scene," when it was in the script, they're transparent aluminum. Scotty had to type it out. I said, "Well, it should be a Mac because they're very graphic." And, it was kind of fun to put something I was fond of, Mac computers, Apple computers. So when the script came in, Scotty was just supposed to start typing away. Right. And I said to Leonard, "Well, in the 23rd century, they talk to the computer, so wouldn't it be funny if he talks to the computer? And Leonard's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and it's funny. And then I said, you should talk to it, and then nothing happens. So then he says, use the mouse, so he thinks it's a microphone. They love that. So yeah, I got that joke.
That's like one of my favorite parts.
And people tell me that they will turn on their computer by saying, hello, computer.
Yes. So what was it like for you reprising a version of the punk character from Voyage Home and Spider-Man Homecoming, and again in season 2 of Star Trek Picard?
Spoiler alert. It was great. The showrunner Terry sent me a message saying, hey, I want to ask you about something. I said, I think I know what this is about, and it was super easy. Went in for a hair and makeup test like 3 weeks before, and wardrobe, and it went down super fast. And then the icing on the cake for me was Leah Thompson was directing, and I'd been friendly with Leah since Howard the Duck. They were doing Howard the Duck at ILM when we were doing Star Trek 4.
Right.
And a bunch of my friends who had worked on Gremlins and Jedi were making Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
So I went to a rap party and met Leah there, and Thomas Dolby, which was fun. And we just hit it off and became friendly. And then about 8 years later, she was starring in a movie that my girlfriend at the time was the hair and makeup artist on. So I'd hang out with her in the trailer. And, you know, we just enjoy each other's company. So I'm on set, and I never asked who's directing. I just, you know, I wasn't a major part, so it was just a little cameo. And they said, oh, it's Leah Thompson. I'm like, I know her. And she was great. She let me do that at the line. Originally, there was no line. It was just me. They said, could you turn down that noise? And I went, just turn it down. I kind of laid there. And she's like, all right, well, don't worry about saying dialogue. We'll pay for it, you know. Because in Screen Actors Guild, you say a line, you get paid more than if you're just doing a bit. So she just said, just say what you would say, like be in the moment. And so that's where that's what they used, me going like, sorry, I just like that song. Apologies, like I'd really like PTSD. So yeah, that was fun, and it's all because Leah's an awesome director.
So, how and when did you start working for Jim Henson and the Muppets?
Oh my God, I thought this would be a 5-minute interview.
Oh.
I think you have to pay me now. I started working for him in 1980s. I met Jim in 86 or 87. It was 87, right after I finished Star Trek. Pretty close afterwards.
Fantastic. We'll do a lightning round, and then we'll ask you about Werewolves by Night, and then we're done.
Oh my God.
Okay? Is that all right?
Yeah, I just need water.
Okay.
Getting dry mouth. All right, go.
Jesus Christ.
That lightning round.
Jim Henson.
Yes.
We're good with Jim Henson. What was
awesome.
it like? Okay.
Amazing.
Muppets Tonight. Muppets Tonight.
Creative. It was really fun. I got to create characters and write sketches and be a producer on set, work with Garth Brooks and Sandy Bullock and Martin Short and a ton of great talent. It was fantastic.
Dinosaurs.
That was awesome. Last thing I worked on with Jim Henson, I got to design all the characters and write the show.
Very Muppets Christmas.
Very Merry Muppet Christmas.
Very Merry Muppet Christmas.
That was fun. My first directing job. That wasn't second unit. And I had a blast. And they realized that I was a good director, and they hired me to do more.
Turkey Hollow.
Turkey Hollow was fun. It was an original idea that Jim had back in the 60s. And I got to kind of update it and make the creatures not look Muppety, but creaturey. And I got to work with Mary Steenburgen, which was amazing.
Frank Oz.
What's that?
Frank Oz.
Frank Oz. Who's that? I only got to work with Frank a couple times. Muppet Treasure Island, I co-wrote.
Right.
He played Piggy in that, and so he was there, and I was there as a writer. And then I directed him some Muppet shorts that were on the Henson Hallmark Channel. Oh. And then I think the last time I worked with him, he did a day on Muppet's Letters to Santa.
Dave Goles, the great Gonzo.
I love Dave. He was my biggest supporter as a director. One of my first couple weeks, he came up to me. You know, he's been friendly. Right. He came up to me and said, "This is what you were meant to do. You are so good. You know what you want, and you're fast, and you get us done on time." I'm like,
"It's fantastic."
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, he's been my biggest supporter.
Bill Beretta, Happy the King Prawn.
I love Bill. He's the best of the new performers. Well, he's one of the few guys that's created new characters. So as a writer on Muppets Tonight, I got to create these characters that he did and made them funnier than when they started. Pepe the Prawn is one of the main ones.
Who's your favorite to write for, Muppet character-wise?
There's like 3. It would be Pepe Gonzo because he's crazy, Pepe because he's a jerk. And when I started with the Muppets, I'm like, we need our Daffy Duck, we need our selfish little jerk, because they're all at that point they're all lovey-dovey and they're all kind and all insecure. I'm like, no, we need someone who's kind of like Rizzo but even worse. So I love writing for Pepe and Gonzo and Uncle Deadly.
Oh, okay. Whose idea was it to combine 2 Disney franchises, the Muppets and Haunted Mansion?
I'd been trying to do a Muppet Halloween movie for 30 years, and I'd written 2 or 3 versions of...
It's your fault.
It's my fault.
It was awesome.
Well, with monsters and ghosts and things, and one became a video game, Muppet Monster Mania. It was based on a script I wrote with Jim Lewis. But finally, so when the new management took over at Muppets at Disney, it's now managed by people in Imagineering.
All right.
I had pitched them, let's do a Halloween movie. It's the second biggest holiday in America. And so they came back to me about a year and a half later and said, what do you think about the Haunted Mansion movie? I said, yes, absolutely. So I got to co-write and direct that.
All right. What's the most challenging aspect of bringing the Muppets to life in front of a live audience like Hollywood Bowl and O2 in London?
Keeping your energy up. Well, we didn't try to hide the puppeteers. That was the biggest debate.
I saw the Hollywood Bowl. It was awesome.
Thank you. The easy part is once it's launched, your job is done. I mean, you can't stop it and redo a camera take. Yeah. So all the hard work is beforehand. It's like doing a play. So it's much harder up front, but then once you're there doing it, you just watch and enjoy it. And then maybe give notes like, usually they're technical notes, because the puppeteers know what they're doing, like a camera missed a shot or something. Yeah.
How did your playing Jovan the Hunter with 57 confirmed kills in Marvel's Werewolf by Night come about? And was it painful when the Man-Thing killed you?
It came about, Michael Giacchino, the director, is mainly known as a composer. He scored a Muppet movie I directed, Muppet's Wizard of Oz. So we became friends, very close friends. And a year and a half ago, he'd been working with Marvel to do this movie, and I knew it was Werewolf by Night. And he said, "Hey, I want to cast you in the movie. Are you okay with that?" I said, "Yeah, I would love that." I said, "What do I need to do, or what do I need to learn?" He goes, "I'm not going to tell you anything about the character. Just grow your hair and beard and work on your Scottish accent." So that's all I knew. I literally didn't even know the script until 2 days before I got on a plane. So yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, because I remember like 2 weeks before, I'm like, do I need to learn how to shoot a gun or fight with a sword or something? I didn't literally know anything about it. I don't know how. Am I a werewolf? So anyway, I had worked on my Scottish accent. I'd worked with Billy Connolly developing a TV show years earlier, and so I started with Billy Connolly and do that, and then I made it dark down here because he wanted to be, like this big cocky monster hunter. So I actually found what I did was the dialogue was in English. I translated into like phonetic Scottish. So like the line, 57 confirmed kills. I wrote out 57 confirmed kills with a Z. So because it helped me hear it right. Like 57 confirmed kills. And I do have an ear for accents, but I did work hard. And then I watched the movie Gregory's Girl like 5 times, which is thick Glaswegian accents.
What are you working on now?
I'm directing an animated series for Nickelodeon called Max and the Midnights. I'm doing a third of the episodes, so 6 out of 20. And it's great. I get to work at home on Zoom. It's CG animated, based on a children's book called Max and the Midnights. And it's a lot of fun. I say it's Monty Python and the Holy Grail for kids.
Oh, wow.
So it's a silly comedy with a lot of action and adventure.
Are you on social media?
I am. So yeah, my website is kirkrthatcher.com. Very simple.
All right.
Instagram, Kirk Thatcher. I think it's Kirk. I don't know if the R's in there. Facebook, Kirk R. Thatcher. All there here.
We'll look for you.
Find it all here.
Oh,
I typed it out for slow readers.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Slow lip readers.
Well, geez, thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, Mike.
I appreciate it. All right, let's see who else we can find here at Pasadena Comic-Con. All right, hear me out. Kermit as Kirk, Gonzo as Spock, Piggy as Uhura, Fozzie as Scotty, Rolf as Bones, and Statler and Waldorf are Sulu and Chekhov.
Oh, Disney would never go for it. They're not going to pay for that franchise.
But oh, the wonders.
Here's what I want to do. I want to do Kirk and Spock doing Who's on First. A buddy of mine, Darren Doctorman, does an amazing Shatner, and I do a pretty good Nimoy, so we're going to just do
Oh my God.
Shatner and, yeah. I mean, just an audio thing. Yeah, that's about as close as I can get.
That's fantastic. By the way, can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
I am so nervous with having this interview.
Why? I've
Because
worked with
you're
puppets.
like-
Puppets don't freak me out.
Because you're like, you know, like puppet royalty.
Tall.
Puppet royalty.
Oh, no, I just can't work in the real world.